Hello, for this video we will turn off the lights and experience the humble darkness of our Mystechry cave. Today we will set out on a journey to experience the mystery lands of Win Max 2. In this gentle review you will learn about the long history of this most unique artifact. Get comfortable, lean back and close your eyes if you want to, as we start our adventure in these peaceful lands. Our journey begins in a small village called GPD. It is the only village in the peaceful and blooming meadows of the outer lit region. We are located right at the center of this wide area. The village is surrounded by big trees and small rivers. Even so, this is the only settlement in the meadows. We are far from being the only residents in this biome. If you go outside, you can see and hear all kinds of animals, small ones and big ones, slow ones and fast ones. We all live together in harmony with Mother Nature. Why the village is called GPD, you ask? No one remembers the origin of this name. It has always been called like this, from our ancestors and their ancestors before. To honor the long history of this place, we think of GPD as the abbreviation of Grandpa's and Papa's domicile. Among the villagers, there is one important tradition. At least once in life, one will leave this flowering place and set out for a journey to explore the rest of the continent. Each time, a group of adventurers returns. Everyone is eager to listen to their stories about the wide world outside. The time has come, my dear friends, that we set out for our journey and explore the miraculous landscape and inhabitants far from our home. In joyful anticipation, we prepare for our adventure and set out to leave the village. At the start, our journey leads us into well-known environments. We wander through the meadows while we listen to the well-known sounds of the surrounding nature. As we get closer to the rim of the outer lit plateau, something changes. The eyes won't spot the difference. The meadows, trees and flowers are still the same, but it all becomes more and more silent. The animals have disappeared. We are lucky and reach the outer rim of the little plateau at the right time of day, at which the great hinge mountains move and reveal the entry to this green desert. In awe, we watch this spectacle of nature for the first time in our life. We set foot on unknown lands. This green desert feels so different. For the first time in our lives, we walk on warm desert sands. We still have the sounds of the meadows in our ears. This new surface sounds and feels so different. Walking is much slower, and the wildlife is unknown. The desert is dry and flat. It's a bit warmer than at home, but not uncomfortably hot. The constant winds are reshaping the land steadily, and sometimes this place glows in all different kinds of colors. The land may seem alien to us, but we begin to understand how some creatures have managed to make it their habitat. We don't go deep into the desert so as not to risk getting lost, and walk along the border towards the great Hinge Mountains. As we travel, we realize that this land has not always been that way. Once we dig deeper into the secrets of this place, we learn that it once had been a cold and icy landscape. On the former grounds, walking did barely make any sounds, but left permanent trails behind. The blank icy surface reflected the sunlight much more than the rough sands does now. We decide not to dig deeper and leave the mysteries of this land untouched. While we move on, we can't help but wonder what unknown force it might have been that changed these lands so drastically. The next stage on our journey is the great Hinge Mountains. Deep below the ground lies the inscrutable mystery which regularly shifts our whole world. The surroundings are stony and empty. Our goal is the Camera Canyon. It is the best passage through the mountains. Once we reach the canyon, we have a first glance at what is called the Land of Two Nations. We cross the great Hinge Mountains and set foot on the prosperous land of two nations. In the distance, there is the grand unified Keyboard Empire. The territory we just entered is part of the loosely organized Gamepad Federation. While the empire is organized and well ordered, you clearly see how the members of the Federation are influenced by the neighboring mountains and desert. In this transition area between city and wilderness, the inhabitants live an almost tribal life. Despite residing in the same biome, the tribes have evolved very differently from each other. Before we set foot onto the territory of the Gamepad Federation, the wind brings to us the distant sounds of the marching Empire troops. We do not fear because we know that even though the Empire is big and powerful, in its long history it always had been a peaceful place and openly welcomes travelers like us. We march on and visit the different clans of the Gamepad area. Not long ago, the Great Stick tribe lived unified, but due to unknown events, it is split apart, and its former members now live independently in two different locations. Because of the long shared history, they still behave very much the same. Very different from that is the ABXY Union. Its individuals have great pride and highly value their independence, although each of its members considers itself as irreplaceable. They know the value of the others and the union and strive for a harmonious coexistence. Much closer is the clan of the Four Directions. Its population sees itself as a unified entity which needs to work together as one. After visiting all the major members of the Gamepad Federation, we take a break at what is at the center of this flourishing landscape, the Great Touchpad Lake. It is the heart of this land and provides the Federation and the Empire with viable resources. Slowly, we start tapping into the water. Once we realize how warm and inviting the lake is, we begin splishing and splashing in the refreshing wet. It does not take long until we decide to jump right into it and enjoy swimming in the restful waters. The last stop on our journey through the Federation is the Merchants Guild. It has set up their bazaar right next to the Touchpad Lake. We get amazed by all the foreign smells and sights and enter one of the Orientalic restaurants. As we select a menu and start eating, we ask one of the merchants who that lonely individual could have been, which we saw at the other side of the lake. The voice of the merchant became a mere whisper as he answered, "This is a lonely sage. No one knows its purpose and powers. Some say it watches over this whole nation. Others say our mere existence is tied to it. There is only one fact we know for certain. It rarely moves, but if it does, something changes deep inside all of us. Still riddling over the mystery of the sage, we end our stay at the Trade Guild and move on to the small southern border of the Federation. The Empire lies before us.